Joan Crawford was as famous for her sharp wit as she was for her unforgettable performances, but her rudeness on set became the stuff of Hollywood legend. Known for her icy demeanor and unrelenting perfectionism, Crawford often clashed with co-stars and directors who couldn't meet her exacting standards. She wasn't alone. Old Hollywood had its share of actresses whose arrogance and difficult behavior made headlines. In this video, we'll explore the stars who left behind not just a legacy of talent, but also a trail of stories about their impossible demands, fiery tempers, and unapologetic pride. Let's unravel their tales. Bette Davis. Bette Davis, one of Hollywood's most celebrated actresses, was equally known for her immense talent and her fiery temper, which often led to clashes with directors, studio heads, and co-stars. Her refusal to compromise on her craft or conform to industry expectations earned her both admiration and a reputation for being extremely difficult to work with. One of her most famous feuds was with Joan Crawford during the filming of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, 1962. The rivalry between the two actresses was legendary, with on-set incidents that bordered on sabotage. During one scene, Crawford reportedly wore weights to make it harder for Davis to drag her across the floor. Davis retaliated by accidentally kicking Crawford in the head during a scene, requiring her to get stitches. Davis later quipped, "The best time I ever had with Joan Crawford was when I pushed her down the stairs." Bette's clashes weren't limited to her co-stars. During her time at Warner Brothers, she frequently battled studio head Jack Warner over creative control and the quality of scripts she was offered. At one point, she filed a lawsuit against the studio to gain her independence, though she ultimately lost. Warner reportedly called her a troublemaker who wouldn't be told what to do. Directors often found her challenging, but couldn't deny her genius. William Wyler, who directed her in Jezebel, 1938, admitted that she was exhausting to work with, but also called her one of the greatest actresses ever. Davis's perfectionism led to frequent arguments over scripts, lighting, and direction, as she believed every detail contributed to a better performance. Even her co-stars weren't spared. Herbert Marshall, who worked with her in The Little Foxes, 1941, described her as unrelenting, while Miriam Hopkins called her vindictive and aggressive. Davis's unyielding nature often created tension, but her performances consistently elevated the projects she worked on. Despite her difficult reputation, Davis's dedication to her craft remains unparalleled. She once said, "If everybody likes you, you're not doing it right." Her fiery personality, though polarizing, helped her carve out a legendary career that cemented her as one of the greatest actresses of all time. Katherine Hepburn. She was one of Hollywood's most iconic stars. She was as famous for her sharp tongue and fierce independence as she was for her remarkable talent. Her no-nonsense demeanor often made her intimidating to work with, earning her a reputation as a perfectionist who didn't shy away from conflict. One notable incident occurred during the filming of The African Queen in 1951 with Humphrey Bogart and director John Huston. Hepburn reportedly clashed with Huston over his laissez-faire approach to filmmaking and his fondness for heavy drinking. While Bogart famously got along with Huston, Hepburn often criticized the director's lack of discipline, which led to tension on set. Despite the friction, her performance was hailed as one of her finest. Her longtime collaborator and companion, Spencer Tracy, described her as difficult but worth it, highlighting the push-pull dynamic of their on- and off-screen relationship. Hepburn's meticulous approach to her roles often led her to critique Tracy's laid-back style, though he admitted that her intensity made him a better actor. Hepburn's sharp criticism also extended to her co-stars. During the filming of Suddenly Last Summer, 1959, she was reportedly unimpressed with Elizabeth Taylor's acting style and made no secret of it, though the two maintained mutual respect. Hepburn's clashes with studio executives were also legendary. She detested the starlet image Hollywood tried to impose on her early in her career and refused to play by their rules. Known for wearing trousers and shunning traditional glamour, she was unapologetic about carving her path. Hepburn once defiantly told a producer, "Don't tell me how to act or how to live." Despite her reputation, Katherine Hepburn's commitment to her craft and uncompromising attitude earned her 4 Academy Awards and a place as one of the most respected actresses in film history. Her strength and independence while sometimes labeled as difficult, were essential to her enduring legacy. Judy Garland. Judy Garland, the beloved star of The Wizard of Oz, is remembered as one of Hollywood's most talented performers, but she also developed a reputation for being difficult to work with, which some labeled as jerk-like behavior. Her struggles with addiction, mental health, and the grueling demands of studio executives often boiled over into tense and unpredictable moments on set. Garland's clashes with MGM executives were notorious. The studio put her under an exhausting schedule, paired with strict control over her diet and appearance, which fueled her dependency on prescription drugs. When pressured to perform to impossible standards, Judy often lashed out, sometimes refusing to work until her demands were met. She famously stormed off the set of Meet Me in St. Louis, 1944, when she felt overworked, telling a producer, "I'm not a machine, I'm a person." Her unpredictability extended to her relationships with co-stars and directors. During the production of Annie Get Your Gun, 1950, Garland's erratic behavior and missed days of filming caused delays, eventually leading to her being replaced by Betty Hutton. Colleagues sometimes described her as moody and unapproachable, with outbursts that made collaboration difficult. One director remarked that working with her was a gamble. You never knew what you get. Despite these challenges, Judy's immense talent often overshadowed her behavior. While some in Hollywood labeled her a jerk, many also recognized her as a tragic figure, trapped in a system that exploited her brilliance, leading to her complex and often misunderstood legacy. Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner was known for her stunning looks and captivating screen presence, but her off-screen personality was fiery and unpredictable. One notable incident happened during the filming of The Barefoot Contessa, 1954. Gardner clashed with her co-star Humphrey Bogart, who was known for his own strong-willed demeanor. Bogart reportedly found her tardiness and casual attitude toward rehearsals infuriating, leading to a tense confrontation. Ava, unbothered by his frustration, famously snapped, "I don't need your approval, Bogey. Let's just get this scene over with." She also had a rocky relationship with Frank Sinatra, whom she married in 1951. Their explosive fights often became public spectacles, with one argument ending in Gardner throwing a champagne bottle across the room at Sinatra during a Hollywood party. Even with directors, Ava didn't hold back. On the night of the Iguana, 1964, she openly criticized John Huston's direction, which led to loud on-set arguments that the crew couldn't ignore. Her quick temper and refusal to bow to anyone's authority earned her both admiration and notoriety. Ava lived life on her terms, and while her fiery nature made her unforgettable, it also made her a challenge for everyone around her. Raquel Welch. Raquel Welch was undeniably a star, but her reputation for being demanding on set followed her throughout her career. Many of her co-stars and directors have shared stories about her strong-willed nature and high standards, which often created tension. One of the most well-known incidents happened during the filming of Myra Breckinridge, 1970. Raquel reportedly clashed with director Michael Sarn and her co-star, Mae West. Sarn claimed that Welch questioned nearly every decision he made, refusing to perform scenes she deemed beneath her image. Mae West, known for her own diva-like tendencies, openly complained that Raquel was disrespectful and difficult to work with, sparking on-set feuds that disrupted production. Actor Jim Brown, who worked with Welch in 100 Rifles, 1969, once noted that she had a strong personality and wasn't afraid to assert herself. Their kissing scene famously caused controversy, but it was Raquel's insistence on her vision of the character that stood out to her colleagues. Similarly, director Richard Lester, who worked with her on The Three Musketeers, 1973, described her as painstakingly precise, but others saw this as stubbornness. Her confidence, while admirable to some, alienated others. Raquel herself once said, "I demand respect because I've earned it." While this attitude helped her maintain her stardom, it also cemented her reputation as one of Hollywood's most difficult actresses to manage. Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine, born on April 24, 1934, in Richmond, Virginia, is an iconic actress, author, and activist whose vibrant personality and unconventional beliefs have shaped her legacy. Known for her curiosity about spirituality and reincarnation, MacLaine's career spans over 6 decades, earning her an Academy Award for Terms of Endearment, 1983, and numerous other accolades. Her reputation for being outspoken and unapologetically herself has led to both admiration and moments of friction in Hollywood. During the filming of The Apartment in 1960, co-star Jack Lemmon praised MacLaine's ability to seamlessly blend comedy and drama, calling her one of the most natural talents I've ever worked with. However, her strong personality sometimes caused tensions on set. Director Don Siegel, who worked with her on Two Mules for Sister Sarah in 1970, remarked that Shirley had her own way of doing things, occasionally leading to creative disagreements. Despite this, he admitted that her instincts often elevated the material. MacLaine's work on Steel Magnolias in 1989 further cemented her reputation for being candid and strong-willed. Co-star Sally Field once joked, "Shirley will tell you exactly what she thinks, whether you asked or not." Yet MacLaine's dedication to her craft was evident, as her performance as the grumpy yet lovable Weisser remains a fan favorite. Her exploration of spirituality also drew mixed reactions. While some colleagues admired her intellectual curiosity, others found her views polarizing. Regardless, MacLaine's fearless approach to both life and acting makes her a singular figure in Hollywood history. Tippi Hedren. Tippi Hedren's rise to fame began when Alfred Hitchcock cast her in The Birds 1963, captivated by her striking beauty and elegance. However, their working relationship soon became infamous for its toxicity. Hedren revealed in interviews that Hitchcock was obsessive and controlling, going so far as to demand complete control over her career and personal life. She described his behavior as terrifying and said, "He ruined my career, but he didn't ruin my life." One of the most shocking incidents occurred during the filming of The Birds. Hitchcock allegedly insisted on using real birds for a climactic scene, despite knowing the risks. Hedren endured 5 days of live birds being thrown at her, causing physical and emotional distress. Reflecting on the experience, she said, "It was brutal. By the end, I was in tears and couldn't take it anymore." Her defiance against Hitchcock's manipulation was rare in an era when actresses were often expected to comply with such demands. After rejecting his advances, she faced professional retaliation, with Hitchcock reportedly blocking her from getting roles with other directors. Despite these challenges, Hedren's resilience earned her respect, and she continued to work in films like Marnie, 1964, and later became a passionate advocate for animal rights. Her courage to stand up for herself during a time when such actions were nearly unheard of helped shape her reputation as a strong and determined figure in Hollywood. Tippi Hedren remains a symbol of perseverance and integrity in the face of adversity. Jane Mansfield. Jane Mansfield was the epitome of glamour and a quintessential Hollywood bombshell. With her platinum blonde hair, hourglass figure, and megawatt smile, she commanded attention everywhere she went, and she knew it. Mansfield thrived in the spotlight, often reveling in her celebrity status. However, her bold personality and thirst for fame occasionally made her appear arrogant to those around her. One infamous incident occurred during a press event when Mansfield deliberately upstaged Sophia Loren by wearing a plunging dress that stole the attention of photographers. The moment, immortalized in a now iconic photograph of Loren side-eyeing Mansfield, was seen by some as a publicity stunt that cemented her reputation for seeking attention at all costs. Loren later admitted she knew exactly what she was doing. Mansfield also had a habit of challenging Hollywood norms. She famously hosted parties at her Pink Palace home, where she flaunted her wealth and status with lavish displays, including a heart-shaped swimming pool. While her fans adored her confidence and larger-than-life persona, insiders often found her behavior over the top. Fellow actors sometimes commented that her relentless self-promotion overshadowed her talent. Despite her reputation for arrogance, Mansfield's charm and sense of humor won over many. Her ability to laugh at herself and play up her image, like spoofing Marilyn Monroe-style roles in comedies, proved she was more than just a pretty face. Even with her polarizing personality, Jane Mansfield's unapologetic confidence left an indelible mark on Hollywood. Mia Farrow. Mia Farrow may have seemed soft-spoken and delicate on screen, but behind the scenes she had a reputation for being difficult to work with, earning her a jerk label in some circles. Her fierce independence and refusal to compromise often led to clashes with directors and co-stars. For instance, during the production of Rosemary's Baby in 1968, director Roman Polanski's meticulous demands caused tension. Farrow, known for speaking her mind, didn't hesitate to challenge his authority on set, which created friction. She also refused to eat raw liver for a particular scene, reportedly leading to a heated standoff. Her strong-willed personality wasn't limited to creative disputes. Farrow's highly publicized split from Woody Allen brought even more attention to her defiant nature. Her decision to stand up against Allen during their legal battles in the 1990s painted her as someone unwilling to back down, regardless of the personal and professional cost. Colleagues often describe Farrow as intense, with some feeling she could be overly critical or emotionally distant. This demeanor led some to see her as cold or arrogant. However, many also recognize that her so-called difficult behavior stemmed from a deep sense of self-respect and determination to maintain control over her career and life, a rarity for women in Hollywood at the time. While some labeled her a jerk, others admired her resilience and unwillingness to conform to expectations. Onunshu Anne Bancroft. Anne Bancroft, celebrated for her powerful performances and commanding presence, was also known for her no-nonsense attitude that some found intimidating and occasionally downright rude. While her talent was undeniable, her strong-willed personality often earned her the reputation of being difficult to work with. One famous incident occurred during the production of The Graduate, 1967. Bancroft clashed with director Mike Nichols over his vision for her character, Mrs. Robinson. She reportedly dismissed some of his suggestions, saying, "I know what I'm doing, so let me do it." Her confidence in her craft sometimes came off as arrogance, frustrating those who worked closely with her. Nichols later admitted that while he respected her immense talent, her forceful personality made collaboration a challenge at times. Another instance of her fiery temperament was on the set of The Turning Point, 1977, where she starred alongside Shirley MacLaine. Tensions between the two actresses reportedly boiled over, as both were known for their strong personalities. Bancroft allegedly criticized MacLaine's interpretation of certain scenes, leading to on-set arguments that disrupted production. Anne's bluntness extended to interviews as well. When asked why she turned down so many roles, she once snapped, "Because they're garbage and I don't do garbage." While this attitude earned her respect for her integrity, it also fueled her reputation as someone unwilling to compromise, which was a trait that both cemented her legacy and alienated some collaborators along the way. Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda, a powerhouse actress and activist, has long been admired for her talent and bold political stances, but her strong-willed nature and uncompromising personality have also earned her a reputation for being difficult to work with. Fonda's confidence and outspokenness often clashed with co-stars and directors, leading to tensions on set. During the filming of Clute, 1971, Fonda reportedly questioned director Alan J. Pakula's decisions, insisting on making changes to her character that she believed were more authentic. While her commitment to the role earned her an Academy Award, some crew members described her behavior as controlling and dismissive of others' input. Similarly, on the set of Barbarella, 1968, Fonda's perfectionism and frustration with the chaotic production schedule caused frequent arguments with her then-husband, director Roger Vadim. She was unafraid to speak her mind, even if it disrupted the flow of work. Her political activism, while widely respected, also made her polarizing. Fonda's vocal opposition to the Vietnam War, particularly her controversial visit to North Vietnam, earned her the nickname Hanoi Jane. This not only sparked public outrage but also created tensions with colleagues who feared the backlash of being associated with her. Fonda herself has acknowledged her assertive personality, once saying, "I wasn't always easy to work with because I cared too much." While some saw her as difficult, others admired her dedication to her principles and her refusal to conform to Hollywood's expectations. Jane Fonda remains a force to be reckoned with, both on and off screen. Ann-Margret. Ann-Margret, known for her electrifying performances and undeniable charm, didn't have the same reputation for being difficult as some of her contemporaries. However, her ambition and determination occasionally caused friction on set. She was a perfectionist, dedicated to delivering the best performance possible, which sometimes led to disagreements with directors or co-stars. One instance occurred during the filming of Viva Las Vegas, 1964, alongside Elvis Presley. While the two stars had great chemistry on screen, tensions arose behind the scenes. Ann-Margret's star power and dynamic personality reportedly irked Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager, who felt she was stealing the spotlight from his client. Though Elvis and Ann-Margret maintained a warm relationship, her charisma and strong work ethic sometimes created subtle rivalries. Ann-Margret's insistence on doing things her way also made her stand out. During the production of Tommy, 1975, her intense focus on perfecting scenes reportedly led to lengthy filming days. While some crew members admired her dedication, others found it challenging to meet her high standards. Despite these occasional moments of tension, Ann-Margret was generally respected for her professionalism and ability to light up the screen. Her strong-willed nature wasn't perceived as outright difficult, but rather as the mark of a star who knew her worth and wasn't afraid to pursue excellence. Claudia Cardinale. Claudia Cardinale, the iconic Italian actress known for her roles in films like The Leopard, 1963, and Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968, was celebrated for her beauty and talent, but occasionally earned a reputation for being headstrong and challenging to work with. Her independence and refusal to conform to traditional expectations often led to tensions on set. One notable incident occurred during the filming of The Pink Panther, 1963. Cardinale reportedly clashed with director Blake Edwards over the portrayal of her character, demanding more depth and refusing to play a stereotypical glamorous woman. Her insistence on challenging the director's vision frustrated some crew members, but others admired her commitment to authenticity in her roles. Cardinale's strong-willed nature also extended to her contracts. Early in her career, she fought against being dubbed in English-language films, insisting on using her own voice to preserve her artistic integrity. This defiance, while ultimately showcasing her dedication, was seen by some producers as stubbornness. However, Cardinale was never unprofessional. Her resistance came from a desire to be taken seriously as an actress and not just a pretty face. She once said, "I am not a doll. I have my own thoughts and I act with them." While her determination occasionally caused friction, it solidified her legacy as a fiercely independent and respected figure in cinema. Diana Rigg. Diana Rigg, though celebrated for her immense talent and elegance, also earned a reputation for being difficult to work with. Her sharp wit, strong opinions, and refusal to tolerate nonsense occasionally led to clashes with colleagues, making her both admired and feared in the industry. One of the most infamous incidents occurred during her time on The Avengers in the 1960s. While her portrayal of Emma Peel made her a television icon, Rigg often butted heads with the producers over pay inequality. She discovered that her male co-star, Patrick Macnee, earned significantly more than her, and she didn't hesitate to call them out publicly, reportedly saying, "I will not be treated like a decorative piece of furniture." While her stand for equality was admirable, her bluntness alienated some of the production team, who found her demands relentless. Her tenure at the Royal Shakespeare Company also saw moments of friction. Fellow actors described her as unyielding and intimidating due to her perfectionism and unwillingness to tolerate mediocrity. One co-star even remarked, "You never wanted to be on the receiving end of Diana's displeasure. It could cut like a knife." During the filming of Game of Thrones, Rigg's acerbic humor left some cast members in awe and others uneasy. She once joked about her younger co-stars, saying, "They take far too long in makeup. It's not as though they're going to be around forever." While many appreciated her candor and dry wit, others found it unnecessarily cutting. Despite these tensions, Rigg's undeniable talent and charisma ensured her place as one of the greatest actresses of her time. While some saw her as a jerk, others admired her refusal to conform and her fierce commitment to her craft. Diana Rigg's legacy remains one of brilliance mixed with bold defiance. Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr had a reputation for being difficult, which earned her the label of a diva in some circles. While her brilliance was undeniable, Her strong-willed personality and sharp tongue often rubbed colleagues and industry professionals the wrong way. Lamarr's infamous clashes with directors and producers were well documented. During the filming of Samson and Delilah, 1949, director Cecil B. DeMille reportedly grew frustrated with her tendency to challenge his authority. Lamarr was known to walk off set when she disagreed with his direction or found the production pace too slow. According to crew members, her demands for better lighting to accentuate her beauty caused frequent delays. DeMille himself was quoted saying, "Hedy is both the most beautiful and the most impossible actress I've ever worked with." Her prickly nature extended to her co-stars. Actor Victor Mature, her leading man in Samson and Delilah, once quipped that working with her was like dancing with a hurricane. Lamarr reportedly insisted on multiple takes of scenes she deemed unsatisfactory, even if others believed they were fine. Her insistence on perfection, while admirable, often led to tension on set. Even off-screen, Lamarr's bluntness could alienate those around her. She was known for dismissing roles and people she considered beneath her, famously saying, "Any girl can be glamorous. All you have to do is stand still and look stupid." While her intellect and talent were remarkable, her arrogance and fiery temper often overshadowed her accomplishments. Hedy Lamarr's legacy as a trailblazer in both film and science is undeniable, but her difficult personality left a lasting impression on those who worked with her. She remains a fascinating figure, a blend of genius, glamour, and controversy. Stacy Dash. Stacy Dash, best known for her role as Dionne Davenport in Clueless, 1995, has built a reputation not just for her acting, but also for her polarizing public persona. While her on-screen charm made her a fan favorite in the 1990s, her off-screen behavior and outspoken opinions later painted her as a divisive figure. Dash's transition into political commentary in 2012 marked a significant shift in her career. Her endorsement of Mitt Romney during the presidential election drew sharp criticism, with fans accusing her of seeking attention rather than contributing meaningfully to the political conversation. Her blunt responses to the backlash, including statements like, "I don't care what anyone thinks, I'm standing by my beliefs," showcased her no-holds-barred attitude but alienated many longtime supporters. Her tenure at Fox News further cemented her controversial image. Dash frequently made inflammatory remarks, such as calling for the elimination of Black History Month, a comment that drew widespread condemnation. Critics described her as out of touch and accused her of making statements for shock value. Even some Fox colleagues reportedly found her combative nature difficult to handle. Dash's brief 2018 congressional campaign only added to her reputation as a divisive personality. Critics accused her of lacking the experience and tact necessary for public office. While Stacy Dash remains a complex and multifaceted figure, her outspoken nature and polarizing views often overshadow her early career as an actress, leaving her as criticized as she was once beloved. Janet Leigh. Janet Leigh was true beauty, but not without her fair share of on-set difficulties that earned her a reputation for being challenged to work with. Though never considered outright abrasive, her perfectionism and occasional strong-willed behavior caused friction at times during her career. One notable incident occurred during the filming of Touch of Evil, 1958, directed by Orson Welles. Welles, known for his own demanding nature, reportedly clashed with Leigh over her interpretation of certain scenes. Crew members observed moments where Leigh insisted on retakes until she felt the performance was just right, causing delays. While her dedication was admired, it frustrated others who felt the production was already under enough pressure. Her time working on The Manchurian Candidate, 1962, also revealed her no-nonsense attitude. Co-star Frank Sinatra, who was known for his laid-back approach, reportedly found Leigh's insistence on rehearsals and sticking to the script tiresome. Sinatra once joked, "Janet runs this set like a general." Even her highly publicized marriage to Tony Curtis had its share of drama. Friends of the couple noted that Leigh's meticulous nature often clashed with Curtis's more carefree personality, leading to frequent arguments that spilled into their professional collaborations. Despite these moments, Janet Leigh's professionalism and commitment to her craft ultimately overshadowed any difficulties. While some saw her as occasionally demanding, her legacy remains one of talent, elegance, and a lasting impact on Hollywood's golden age. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo, one of Hollywood's most enigmatic stars, wasn't necessarily a jerk in the traditional sense, but her reclusive nature and aloof attitude often gave her that reputation. Garbo's preference for privacy, refusal to engage in the usual Hollywood schmoozing, and her intense focus on her craft made her a challenge to work with at times. Garbo famously avoided the press and public events, frustrating studio executives who depended on star appearances to promote films. Her oft-quoted line, "I want to be alone," epitomized her disdain for publicity, leading some in the industry to perceive her as cold or arrogant. Louis B. Mayer, head of MGM, once reportedly called her difficult and lamented her unwillingness to participate in the traditional Hollywood star system. On set, Garbo was known for her perfectionism and intense focus, which sometimes caused friction. During the filming of Queen Christina, 1933, she insisted on countless retakes of certain scenes, leading to delays and frustration among the crew. Director Ruben Mamoulian later admitted, "She was a genius, but also exhausting to work with." Her relationships with co-stars could also be strained. For example, Garbo reportedly kept her distance from John Barrymore during Grand Hotel, 1932, refusing to engage socially with him off-screen. Some saw her detachment as arrogance, while others believed it was her way of maintaining her mystique. While Garbo's behavior may have been viewed as difficult or jerky by Hollywood standards, many saw it as a byproduct of her fierce independence and commitment to her artistry. Her legacy as a timeless icon proves that her aloofness only added to her allure, making her one of the most fascinating figures in cinematic history.